Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to talk about how just a few minor adjustments can make a major difference. I'm Evan Brandt, and this is Going in the Right Direction Brings Blessings. So let me give you a little background about what's been going on these past 2 years for me. I was 275 pounds of pure hedonism. And if you don't know what hedonism is, that just means you orient your life around pleasure. So that's how I was living. I was going out all the time. I was drinking myself to death. And what happens when you do those things? You're going to get fat. You're going to get hateful. You're going to become somebody that you don't really care about. And it's important to care about yourself, obviously. I'm not a self-help page. I'm a Evan Brandt page. But truly, when you look at how much it takes to live a life like a dream life, I'm not rich by any means. I'm not even making money yet with the content, but I've got such a clearer vision. I'm living every day with intention. And it just, I feel healthy. I'm probably 60 pounds down at this point. Work out every day, very motivated. I still have bad habits. I'm human. But what really sparks that is understanding that you only have one chance at this. We live in a way, when you look at the language that's used every day across society, you would think we'd live forever. Talks about career moves and all these things like, are you going to do X, Y, Z? And most goals are pretty shallow, Maybe that's a little bit of a cynical take, but hear me out. When I look at people wanting to get sports cars, or they want to do, they just want all these materialistic things. I hate to sound cliche, but that is a major part of our culture. And you can blame capitalism, you can blame anybody you want, but at the end of the day, it's a cultural thing. When you look at that, when you look at other people that are getting these things that we value so much, you can easily, in a split second, feel like a piece of shit very quickly. Because you look at your situation, whoever's listening, no matter how much you have seen yourself improve, or maybe you've stalled out, whatever, there's always going to be someone that's living better than you. But here's the thing. Each journey is yours to take, or everyone's journey is their own to take. And I know people even say that a lot. I'm starting off great, bringing up cliche things, but really internalize that. Think about that for a second. How many decisions have you made because you're trying to please someone else? Whether you went to college for your family, maybe you were a first generation college student. That's great. You should be proud. But then what are you doing it for? What's your motive? Do you have a reason for doing it? Do you just want to make a lot of money? Do you want to leave an impact on this world? Do you want to do X, Y, Z? And I love Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't know who that is, he goes by, he goes by Gary V. And he always says it's never too late. So this is not an age appropriate thing. I'm not just talking to young people. I'm talking to people of all ages. That thing that's scratching in the back of your mind that you want to do, but maybe you're afraid that your mom's going to judge you. Maybe you're afraid your dad's going to judge you. Maybe you're afraid your boyfriend's going to judge you, your girlfriend. But the thing about that, whatever that may be, maybe you want to own a garden, just whatever it is. It doesn't have to be career oriented. It could be something as simple, like I said, you want to do a garden, but you don't have the land. Well, what do you have to do to get the land? Just my point being is that you have to live in a fearless way for what you want. And from my experience, it's very easy to deprive of what you want in this life because there's so many, I was in a job for 5 years in insurance. I did not care about that. I was doing it because that looked good, good reputation, built good relationships with customers, which I'm very happy for. I'm not saying that was a waste of time. I'm simply saying I was living that way to please other people. So let's get down to what small adjustments you can do to start living in a life you actually care about. One thing, get up early. I know that, again, oh my God, I'm like 3 for 3 on the cliches, but this has changed my life quickly. Instead of, I used to wake up 11, 12, 1 p.m. as a full-grown adult living in my dad's basement, And there's nothing wrong with living with your family. Live as long as you can with them. But I'm just saying, for me, it was time to leave the nest because I needed to expand my mind. I needed to do what was best for me at the time. But now that I'm here, moved to a completely new city here in this beautiful Pittsburgh, a little rough around the edges, but I love everybody here. It's a great culture. Every day I wake up 6 a.m., go straight to working out. And I don't work out long, maybe 30, 45 minutes. If it's a slower day, I'll just do 15 minutes of stretching if I, was working out hard that week. But what happens just from doing that? And the funny thing is, working out doesn't have to be like, oh, crush protein, check every macro, do this and do that. Just get active. Go out on a walk. A morning walk will energize you. And it really doesn't, it will suck at first, but your body loves routine. Your body and your brain loves repetition. I talk about this on my shorts. Your brain loves when your actions align with your beliefs, and you get so much more time in your head if you have that morning time, especially since nobody's out, nobody's awake. I live in a city, so you'll notice that not many people are awake. You kind of just have you and your environment. With a couple exceptions, there's an old guy that's super cool that is always on the little exercise machine when I go work out. But a morning routine is just amazing. And if you don't have one, I highly recommend that. Just take a walk outside. Hell, go wake up one day at 6 a.m. Seriously, do this if you want to. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I promise you'll feel something. Wake up at 6 a.m., go for a 10-minute walk, and then go back to sleep. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but what you'll find is that you'll probably have enough energy to stay awake. And then once you lock yourself into that routine, you have, let's just take me for example. If I woke up at 11, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's like 5 extra hours that I have of just being focused and alert. And then I can plan out my day and it feels so good. Another thing, limit the partying. I mean, partying, as Conor McGregor says, partying is weakness for the soul. And that is so true. Because the only time that you party is when you're trying to escape something. And I'm not saying that partying is inherently bad. I think everyone should get out, have fun, whatever, do your thing. I'm very boring. I don't drink anymore. I'm California sober. I don't even smoke weed that much, but that's my vice of choice. But if you can do anything else, I mean, my God, doom scrolling's better than partying at this point. And I personally struggle with the damn doom scrolling. They really know how to hook you. But yeah, just really try something different. And the reason why partying all the time is bad is because you're overstimulating your mind with just pure distraction. You know, you can make connections and meet cool people. That's about the only upside. But most of the time you're going to be drinking. Most of the time you might even, you're going to be promiscuous. You're going to be in a very, again, I'm using this word, hedonistic state. And living in a hedonistic way where you're just trying to bounce from pleasure to pleasure will ultimately kill you. Yes, it will kill you, whether it's slowly or quickly. Nobody that has partied since they were young, maybe the only exception is Ozzy Osbourne, but he's a legend. He gets a pass. But if you are partying all the time, you are going to kill yourself, because at the end of the day, your brain needs its adequate time to just have silence. Just a little downtime in order to process what you're not thinking when you're doing those things. You're really not. You might think you're thinking, but not really. So I would say the number one thing to do, ditch, just one little adjustment, is go out one less time a week. And then that day that you kind of feel good about it, maybe you read or maybe you did some other inherently boring. That's one thing I will warn you, is it'll feel kind of boring at first. But it doesn't have to be. You can spend it with stuff you actually like to do. But it'll enhance your life so quickly. Yeah, so that's one thing. So I'd say one adjustment you can make is limit the partying, going out, whatever you want to call it. That can be a million different ways, but pretty much when you're in a state of distraction, if you can limit that once a week, everything compounds. So one good habit that you do today, and then you do it, and that's the funny thing. It doesn't have to be extreme, but that stacks up. And then you expand a little more. Then maybe you're like, man, I can have time if you're in a city. Or I'm telling you right now, dog walkers make bank. So you could spend times with a dog. You could spend time with dogs, make extra money, save a little bit more. There's just so much that opens up once you limiting habits. That's what I like, that word, limiting habits. So just party just one time. Try it. Another thing, so far, wake up a little earlier, limit your partying. Very simple. Just doing that, you'll feel such a big difference. And then once you do that, you'll also notice other vices that you have. They stack up too. You might drink too much. I'm openly sober. I've talked about this episode already, but ultimately focus on what is limiting you. Focus on the things that aren't good. Another thing I talk about on my shorts is cognitive dissonance. So when you are doing things that are out of line with your values and beliefs, it'll wreak havoc silently. Anything that can align yourself more is good for you. Another thing to do is, this is probably the simplest thing to change, and it has the biggest outcome, and that's what you consume. I like to consume a lot of motivational stuff. I watch School of Greatness on YouTube instead of watching some dumb show. And again, nothing wrong with dumb shows. The Boys was fun. The last season was pretty bad. It was mid. But all those times, so replace a little bit of your consumption with something that, empowers you or makes you think differently. So again, just do that. When you have that instinct to turn on Netflix, one time, just put on YouTube. School of Greatness, highly recommend that. Just it's very positive, uplifting. They talk about some woo-woo spiritual stuff, but it makes you think a lot. And there's all sorts of positive media. Put on Discovery Channel, So ultimately, the takeaway from this, if you wake up just a little earlier, once a week, again, these don't have to be drastic. Just for 1 week or one day of the week, wake up a little earlier, limit your partying, and consume something that's actually good for you. And if you make those small adjustments, you will see major results. So thank you for listening. Follow along for more. Comment on my Instagram or reach out if you have any suggestions. And have a good one.